Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Apologize for the slight delay. We have with us Abhijit Iyer-Mitra to answer your questions. Please like this video and also subscribe to our channel if you have not done so yet. So let's welcome Abhijit Iyer-Mitra. Abhijit, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪 and a happy Hanukkah to all our viewers.
Happy Hanukkah to all of our viewers. And Abhijit, today we have a data packed session. First, I wanted to update our viewers with what is happening with the Sengol project. We have started shipping them, and I just wanted to share you some ideas when you receive this Sengol as to how you can grace them at your house. Can we have the slide deck, please? So first thing you're going to get when you open the box is that you'll get a slight piece of paper to caution you as to keep it outside the reach of the children. And this is just a disclaimer notice to make sure that you know that this is not something that should be left on the ground. Next one, please. This is how it's going to come packaged, about 13 inches long, 2 inches by 2 inches wide. And here's how the thing Sengol can be decorated. Next one, please. Here, one of our friends has put it by the side of Lord Shiva, and it's actually leaning on the wall. You can see there now it's leaning against the wall because it needs something to support it. You can come up with plumes or acrylic fibers to try and make it look stand by itself. You can see the beautiful flag of India, and I'm going to give you more close-ups. Here is one. Here is the Nandi on top of it. This one. Here we go. You can see the Nandi here, and that is the inscription. And next, please. Here is I think this represents the circle Dharma Ashoka Chakra in the flag. I'm not 100% sure. I'll confirm that. So these are all the different things that are going to be possible when you get it. So we wish you all the best. May this bring you good luck. And stay tuned. You will be getting it depending on where you are in the next 2 to 4 shipping days. Now it's Christmas traffic, so there may be a bit of a delay because of that. Bear with us. These are leaving the offices today and tomorrow. Everything will be shipped. So you will get this thing very, very soon. Thank you so much for your patience with this. And now, Abhijit, I'm going to play a small video, 20-second video of the breach that took place in the parliament today. Can we have the video, please?
लोगों के लिए भी है गिर गया सभा की कार्यवाही 2 बजे तक स्थगित की जाती है.
So that was the person who had jumped into the well, and there was one other person actually exploding smoke canisters and in the balcony. Both of them have been apprehended. Now there is some information about who gave them the pass, and that will be investigated. We'll keep you posted. Bless you. Bless you. 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪 𝗢𝙠𝙤. So Abhijit, over to you.
So it seems that the people who broke in are professional protesters of some kind, right? At least the lady, she's been part of every single protest that we've seen. Farmers protest, CA protest and whatnot. So we really don't know who put them up to this. This could have just as easily, without being put up, this could have just as easily been some kind of a cheap publicity stunt. The person who gave them the pass to enter is a BJP MP called 𝗤𝗏𝗍𝗆. Now the problem is, where they set up was 𝗤𝗏𝗍𝗆 set up because the first person to tweet their pass was Danish Ali, who, as you know, has been expelled from his BSP party over his support to mohua. So did Danish Ali actually put up these guys to it? Because these two are cheap, hourly rental protesters. So we still don't know. Let the investigation go on and we'll find out more.
Yes, and what kind of surprises me is smoke canister is not something that you can hide. How did they get it inside the well of the house? Don't you think there is like a smoke bomb detector before you enter the new parliament building?
Yeah, so this is what we don't understand. How the hell? Because there's enormous security, and today, in fact, because it's the what do you
Anniversary.
call it? The anniversary of the Parliament attack. There was apparently increased security. So we don't know how they managed to. Because look, a smoke canister is something that shows up in every single X-ray machine, right? So we don't know how the hell they managed to get it inside.
So there's an
So
inside job. There is
it's
somebody
not
on
a
the inside.
terror attack, but it
Mhm.
is a huge, huge, huge security breach. And I think heads need to roll over this at any rate.
All right. Thank you so much, Abhijit. And now let's take a few questions for Abhijit.
But can I
Yes.
just say, apparently some MPs got together and beat up both the protesters. I just want to know who those MPs are because I want to send flowers over to their houses. Flowers, motichur, laddu,
There are
whatever they like.
consequences, right? There are consequences. I mean, I think that's the point
No,
here.
but I'm so happy that MPs stood up. They didn't wait for security. They stood up and they went and beat up these guys.
Good, good. Glad some people are doing Malyuddham and exercise at home, so they have the muscle to go, land some punches.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Malyaban wants to know why is that Singapore, which receives similar rains akin to Chennai, Mumbai, and Kolkata, has an infrastructure to tackle 10 centimeters of rain, but Indian cities still face the same problems.
Look, it's in Singapore. Remember, the urban planning is outstanding. They rebuilt a lot of Singapore and they planned for enormous amounts of stormwater drainage and things like that. And remember, it's the full form of Singapore is the Socialist Republic of Singapore. They give you out houses on 49-year leases and 99-year leases. The older Chinese or heritage houses are given on 499-year leases, but even those can be broken. Okay, in India, boss, you have zero municipal. This is, you have to make several different municipal corporations work and things like that. The property laws here are very stringent. You can't just redevelop things. Even to this date, you know how bad the FSI laws in Bombay are. In a place like Bombay, people assume you can build up a lot. You can't, which is why that Lodha World One or whatever it was, that Lodha property, I don't know which one, it has the record for being the longest litigated construction in India. So when you have a very low understanding of urban development and a thoroughly corrupt system and most importantly, very corrupt municipal corporations, this is what you get. Now, that said, we also need to remember that every now and then you will get a certain amount of rain which will flood you no matter how good your infrastructure is, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So for example, the breaching of the flood defenses at Fukushima, or the breaching of the flood defenses in Louisiana when that Hurricane Katrina happened and things like that, that will happen. The question is, was this one of those episodes? But looking at the history of rainfall, this clearly wasn't. So I don't know what exactly went wrong out here. More importantly, what happened to those 4,000 crores that were allocated to Chennai for stormwater drainage precisely for this kind of a situation? I still don't
Swaha.
know. It is very surprising that in the wake of the tsunami, we were told that precautions will be taken so that this does not happen again. And yet, what have we seen? No tsunami in Chennai. And yet, 4,000 crores later, zero ability to cope with this nonsense. And on top of all of that, zero accountability. So make of it what you will.
Abhijit, you have a dummy as the mayor. What do you expect, man? It's all completely swahad.
You see, the Madras mayor has no power. Let's be clear where the fault lies. It is with the CM's office. Okay. At least with Jayalalitha, if you remember, when there were Chennai floods also. There were Chennai floods under Jayalalitha, and there were the tsunami happened, I think, under Jayalalitha or somebody else. I forget who. She went out and helped people. She was at the forefront of helping people. Where is Stalin? Where is Udaynidhi? He loves coming for all these cheap film openings and things like that. Where are they doing help? Do you still remember that photo of Jayalalitha knee deep in water going around to help people?
By the way, viewers, there are some interesting things about Singapore. Every flat complex, I'm told, has a certain ethnic percentage that reflects the ethnic percentage of the state. In other words, if an Indian Singaporean vacates a flat, then that will be replaced only by an Indian Singaporean. And I don't know how they are managing the population growth also along the same percentage lines. Perhaps Abhijit knows.
So, sorry, did you get all of it? I got cut off for a minute.
Yeah, I got all of it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Take.
So did you hear my question?
No.
Okay, so what I'm told is in Singapore, every flat complex, let's say there are 200 flats, right? That kind of reflects the homogeneity of the population of Singapore. Therefore, what it means is if an Indian Singaporean leaves the flat, then that flat is allocated again to another Indian Singaporean. Conversely, you have to wait your turn before you can get into a place of your choice. And I'm wondering how they maintain this demographic also, how they maintain the same kind of numbers.
See, they want an inclusive society because there are lots of studies in Singapore that have shown they will place 3 and 4 bedroom flats together, but they won't place, and they'll place 2 and 3 bedroom flats together, but they will never place 2 and 5 bedroom flats together because they believe that the income disparity becomes worse in school, as opposed to 3 and 4 or 2 and 3, which build social cohesion. Right? They've got a second tool of social cohesion, which is military service, which everyone has to do. Now, in all of this, they've got a flat reservation system where, based on the percentage of population, you have to be allowed into flats. You can't have a Chinese only flat society, and this is done very specifically to avoid ghettoization. They're very, very strict about avoiding ghettoization of any kind out there, which is why they have a reservation system. And I think it's excellent to have it that way. Of course, it creates problems because remember, it is the Socialist Republic of Singapore. So they do have a kind of socialist approach to planning.
Next one, please. Om Patel wants to know, do you think McCarthyism / Red Scare was beneficial for the US in the long run?
Yes, I think it should have continued because it is precisely because it did not continue that you have a full-scale left a hijack of all US institutions since 1990 when the USSR fell.
Next one, please. Paparazzi, thank you so much. Best place to have South Indian around Chennai.
What is South Indian, paparazzi?
Food.
Yes, I want to know what is South Indian food. There is no such thing as South Indian food. There is
Paparazzi, you
dosa
may
and
want to
idli.
expand on your question.
There is pesarattu, there is Salem biryani, there is Dindikal biryani, there is Kerala biryani, Malabar biryani, there is Donne biryani, there is completely separate Andhra Brahmin cooking and Tamil Brahmin cooking, which is very similar. There is Udupi Brahmin cooking, which is totally different. There is Kerala food, which has zero connection to, say, Andhra food or coastal Tamil Nadu food. So South Indian food in itself, as you call it, South Indian, is very diverse. So you please ask me which particular cuisines you want within South Indian. And Chettinad is very different. Chettinad non-veg is very different from Andhra non-veg, which is very different from Kerala non-veg. And all three of them share almost zero commonality with each other.
Next one, please. The Arjuna Uvacha wants to know, your point of treatment of cows in dairy farming is an eye-opener. The cruelty is unacceptable. What are the alternatives for a Delhi family? Any ethically sourced dairy brands? Thank you.
Yes, there is a brand called Europa, which I used to get. Now I found a guy who has buffaloes out here in a nearby farm. It is expensive, but I get all my dairy. See, first of all, I don't consume much dairy. But I get these from these, and it's a huge farms. They've got cows and buffalo, so I don't know what I'm getting, either buffalo milk or cow milk. And it's fantastic milk because it is unpasteurized, and you guys have no idea. If you make paneer with unpasteurized milk, it does not need any gravy. You can just eat it like that. It's delicious as it is. So I get all unpasteurized milk and things. Of course, it's very expensive. So the question is, do you have the money to spend doing that? Otherwise, I'd only recommend you reduce your dairy consumption, because realistically, unless you're willing to spend that money and find some local dairy farmer out here, a guy with a farm, or this Europa milk brand thing, and that Europa thing comes from Gurgaon, you're not really going to get ethically sourced cows. And cows in dairy are treated far, far worse than the beef industry. They are literally killing calves. You are literally killing calves. Every glass of milk you drink is one dead calf, and that's on your conscience. So best of luck to you. But if you're willing to spend the money, there are lots of places you can get it. Most people are not willing to spend the money, but they still want to have dahi every day. They still want to have their doodh ki chai every day. They still want to have their paneer every day. And this is, I don't eat too much paneer. It's less than the moral thing. It's more of a this thing. Kya kehte hain? A protest against paneer, because paneer isn't vegetable. For me, a vegetable is a vegetable. Paneer is not a vegetable. Paneer is not vegetarian. But I've had to give up beef because my mom told me I have to give up beef at least 1 year prior to our family temple, our family murti coming into the house, the Amman coming into the house. So I've had to give up beef for quite some time. So now I'm not even eating it. I've maybe have dahi once a week, just because, well, it's not eating beef, but every packet of dahi you consume is, maybe not every one, but every, say, 100 packets of dahi you consume is one dead calf, male cow somewhere.
Next question, please. Thank you, 𝗤𝗍, for becoming a member. And what US officials are saying in private about the case? This is, I think, Pannu case.
It'll die a very quiet death. They're dealing with it exactly as they would deal with Israel trying an assassination on their soil. They say that there will be some hoo-ha for a while, and then it'll quietly go away.
Next one, please. Thank you, Rahul Lakshman. Can India government use incidents to get Pannu extradited?
No, because thankfully for him, he did it within the limits of what's it called?
Freedom of speech?
The Brandenburg Principle. The Brandenburg Principle is, you can't be accused of incitement in America unless it is a specific threat against a specific target. This was not specific. He just said, be careful on this and this date. Okay. So it won't qualify under the Brandenburg Principle, unfortunately.
So he's reading out a lawyer statement. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one. Thank you, Real Cricket. Abhi and Sree watch James Corbett. James Corbett, I haven't heard of him. Do you know him?
Jim Corbett National Park. Why? Is there a movie about it?
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be.
Could be.
Yeah. It's a little cryptic. Next one, please. Saurabh Jain wants to know, tried your dieting lessons from your trip. I have lost 3.5 kilos in 1 month. What do you think is the next for mahishasuri mohua saga? Mahishasuri?
Oh, yes.
Mohua saga.
1 second. Let me just send. I've got a work call. I just need to send a quick message. Sorry. Yep. Mahua saga. Well, now it's being challenged in the Supreme Court. Let's see what happens. I suspect if everything goes quiet on the Mahua front for a few months, even Mamta isn't planning on giving Mahua a ticket.
Next one, please. What's the Congress might, right?
I doubt it very much.
Okay. Ishan Sharma wants to know, Abhijit, with 3 new CMs being made in the Hindi heartland, what will be its impact in the Hindi heartland, especially UP, Bihar, and where there are large Yadav, Rajput, and Brahmin population?
Okay, so see, the first thing is all these three leaders who have been made, they have
Keep
either
talking.
replaced older leaders or they've replaced problematic leaders. Vasundhara was a very problematic leader because she would be she would disappear when there were no elections. After the election was won, she'd show her face and stake her claim. She never does any work when there are no elections. The 5 years when she's in opposition, she does nothing, literally. And they wanted to get rid of her. So that was a different compulsion out there. The second is Sahu in Chhattisgarh, or Sai rather in Chhattisgarh, which is it's speaking directly to the tribal community and things like that out there, which is what you need out there. In Madhya Pradesh, there is a belief. I'm not saying this is true, but there is a belief within the party at the center that remember, Shivraj Chauhan had lost the previous election. Kamal Nath had technically won it till Jyoti's revolt split that party open. So there is a belief that this one was won because of the PM central schemes which were very carefully implemented in Madhya Pradesh. But the second thing also is they want a second generation of leadership to be there. And they've been telling Mamaji, which is to say Shivraj Chauhan, to come to Delhi. They want him in Delhi in the cabinet. But Mamaji does not want to go to Delhi to join the cabinet. They are not demoting him anyway. They want to promote him because as they see it, becoming cabinet minister in Delhi is a promotion. The problem is Mamaji doesn't want to go to Delhi. He's very gracious in accepting that, and what better time to quit than at a high? You win a 2/3 majority after 18 years and you quit when you're at the absolute top. You leave with your record completely untarnished, as opposed to losing an election, which is a very cruel way to go out, right? And as for the Yadav, Rajput, and Brahmin population, I think what the BJP is trying to demonstrate out here is Hindutva, which is what? That you're a Hindu over caste. It's a very interesting proposition because they believe, especially putting a Brahmin in charge in Rajasthan, it'll be very interesting seeing how that plays out. How will the Rajputs interpret it? It's a huge gamble. It's a huge gamble because they believe that it's only when you do things like this that the chief minister, in order to stay afloat, because he or she can't count on caste, will count on performance, which is kind of what Hindutva is meant to be about, right? You're a Hindu first and caste second. So let's see how it works out. I think it's a gamble. I think it's a dangerous gamble, but it may pay off.
Next one, please. Atresh Shigawal wants to know, if Trump plus Vivek win, what would their climate change policy, especially with respect to climate fund that developed nations have agreed to pay to developing nations, be? Will they be bad for the planet?
See, it's moving to green energy is good economics, irrespective of a climate fund or no climate fund, if you gear your economy towards production and consumption. I'm a big fan of solar, but the problem is most of our solar panels are imported from China. How is that good? You create the economy here, you create both production and consumption out here. Windmills are not good. Dams can be good if they're done in small localized dams. They can be very bad if done in large dams. So there is a economies of scale and new economies to be created towards climate change policies, emissions policies, reducing our dependence on coal. Nuclear fuel is any day much better for the environment. It's also much better for our country because technically nuclear is the cheapest per megawatt. It is the cheapest per megawatt if you actually look at it. The cost comes about because of all kinds of region-specific, seismic-specific additions and manipulations of the reactor, where every 1% change in diagram involves a 1% change in requirement involves a 99% change in technical drawings and things like that. But even that is being overcome. There are new standardized designs and things like that which reduce that thing as well. So, and reduced emissions and burning a thing is anyway good for you, for your health and things like that, right? There is a logic to emissions, to clean energy, towards energy conservation and green energy, like we've discussed, say double glazed windows to preserve electricity, forcing central heating, central water heating and central temperature cooling across flats. All of these things help in the long run, not for any other country, but just for ourselves, for our own health, for our own energy consumption, reducing our energy consumption bill, making us self-sufficient in terms of energy. So Trump or Vivek winning will not change that at all. There is a rationale to clean, sustainable, localized energy which reduces our import bills very significantly for India, irrespective of US or European energy policy.
Next question, please. Thank you, Saturo XD. Was there de-urbanization in Vedic age?
No, there was proto-urbanization in the Vedic age. You can't possibly call it de-urbanization. It was proto-urbanization of some kind. We will never know what. And this depends on if you believe that the Vedic age came after Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, or if the Vedic age was in fact Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, which is my personal belief, because the Vedas is talking about cities. It's talking about a geography that is based around the Saraswati Sindhu. So according to me, the Vedas is in fact set in Harappa Mohenjo-daro-ish times. Was there a great replacement event, a gene replacement event that changed 15% of the male genetic stock in North India a few hundred years later, say around 1900 BC? Yes. But I don't believe they brought the Vedas in with them. I think the Vedas were the original local document, which other people, when they came, they adopted.
Next question, please. Saturo XT, thank you again. Do right-wing historians over-glorify India's past?
Yes, a lot of them do. I think this tendency towards bullshitting and imagining a past, but it's not just Indian right-wing historians. Understand this. Christian historians used to do the same. Muslim historians do the same. Most Chinese histories, official histories, used to do the same. Because, in an agricultural world, your current always seems miserable. You want to imagine a past that was lovely and hunky-dory. Industrial societies become the reverse. They actually look forward to a better future and they don't keep looking at the past, which is why industrial societies look ahead. Ossified agrarian societies look backwards, which is why, Muslims keep talking about the Rashidun Caliphate, which was a very violent period, by the way, even if it existed. I think there's a lot of history to prove that this was something that Abdul Malik, the fifth or sixth Umayyad Caliph, basically created history out of thin air. Not entirely thin air, but very significant thin air. They believe this. Christians for a long time believed in this old golden age, which was going to come back with Christ. Hindus tend to see Ram Rajya, and we tend to overglorify our past, which is probably not that glorious except for, say, Harappa Mohenjo-daro. So it's a natural tendency across the world. The Chinese are especially good at this, used to be. Even now, in spite of industrialization, you see they tend to overglorify their past, not in history as much as they do in, History Channel. History Channel is not history, let's be clear about it, but in pop history. Next
question, please. Thank you, Rajneesh. Can you explain what exactly happened in Gujarat riots?
Yes, it's very simple. Modi anticipated. What happened was the train got burnt. The Godhra train got burnt by people from the outside. It wasn't from the inside, as some nonsense investigators told you. They expected things to blow up. Modi realized things were going to blow up. He desperately asked for central troops. He asked for police reinforcements from Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. The center said no, because remember, at that point of time, there was a massive mobilization. Parliament attacks had happened, and Operation Parakram was on, where the entire army had been mobilized across the border, so they could not spare troops to come to Gujarat. And what else happened was that the three neighboring states said no. And within about 24 hours, as expected, the riots broke up. Modi did the best he could with the small number of police he had, with bolt action 303 rifles, which you have to keep loading one, extracting one, loading one, extracting one bullet. You can't really do crowd control with that. And he tried his best as much as he could. And you have to make some very tough choices. You can protect these neighborhoods, you can't protect these neighborhoods. You decide to sacrifice some neighborhoods. This is one of the ugly things about law and order maintenance, which you have to do. He did, given what few troops he had and police he had. And that's exactly what happened. And remember, it was controlled within about 48 to 72 hours. And also, it wasn't a one-sided pogrom. Never
Both
forget
sides
that.
died. Yeah.
Both sides died, and the other side, the so-called victim side, also died in very significant numbers. Never forget that. Many of them shot by police during rioting, caught on camera. Okay, so it wasn't one-sided at all.
Aditya, one thing that Bajpa needs to do is to go on the front foot on this. The Congress knew Modi that he was going to be a threat to the center, to the Sonia Gandhi family, even though they were not in power yet. They understood. They know, this is like a snake knowing another snake's legs. And this whole thing.
I don't think they knew. I don't think they knew. I thought I think they decided if they ever knew that this was going to be the man that was going to destroy them, they wouldn't have gone after him. I think they thought that he was a pushover, that they could go after him and they could make this keep dangling on the BJP's neck forever. Remember, they tried the same thing with Advani. It was Advani who they saw, Advani and Murli Manohar Joshi, who they saw as being behind the Babri demolition. And they went after those two, and they saw to it that Vajpayee became the prime minister and not Advani or Murli Manohar Joshi. Okay, because Vajpayee was then seen as the compromise candidate and he had to be projected. The hardline face had to be toned down. The sort of compromise secular face had to be toned up. They thought the same thing will happen here, and I think it backfired miserably on their faces. Thank God for that.
Next one, please. Aditya Prakash wants to know, do you think the attack was done to send a message to Indian government?
Which attack?
This is the Godhra attack.
Are you sure?
No. I'm sorry. Parliament, I think.
No, boss.
Yeah.
This is some cheap Nautanki-baz professional protesters doing nonsense. Next.
Next one, please. Saswat wants to know, will France escape wokeism and grow in future?
I don't know if they can grow. I think Macron's made a very good case today that they're over-regulated thanks to the EU. They've escaped wokeism, yes. Will they grow? Well, see, growth is a function of how much you manufacture and what your demographics are. What is your population replacement rate? Only some communities in France are replacing population, and that's probably not a good demographic to go by.
Isn't France majority Catholic?
One second. Let me just finish my stream of thought. There is also a whole trend towards not marrying and producing kids amongst the most productive parts of the population. The third trend out there, which is a good trend, is that France is one of the few countries that never gave up on industry. Unlike, say, Britain, which was, literally under Margaret Thatcher, they shut down all their industries, they shut down all their coal, steel, everything, and they transitioned completely into mercantilism. France still maintains very significant state and state-supported private industrial manufacture. Now, can they grow in the future in an ossified market like Europe? I'm not too sure. And this is why Macron's statement, I think yesterday or today, that, this kind of regulation where Europe does not manufacture, Europe manufactures regulations for things they don't even manufacture. Europe is the first to regulate anything and everything under the sun, whether it produces it or not. But they are not the first to produce things anymore. And he's tagged that as being very problematic. Now, the issue is the EU is pegged on Franco-German integration. Germany also has to start thinking like this and shift towards a French mode of thinking, which they will not. At which point, what will France prioritize? Will it prioritize its own future and growth, or will it prioritize its future within the EU, which is pretty much a dead duck bureaucracy? They're literally throttling Europe's growth. What do you do?
My question to you was, isn't France Catholic?
Yeah. It soon, in another 50, 60 years, it might become Muslim.
Next question, please. Akash Mihir 84. Have you read Sanjay Baru's India's Power Elite? Is it good?
No, I have not, Akash. I have not yet read it. I have a copy lying, which Sanjay ji said he would sign for me, which I haven't got signed yet, but I haven't read it.
Thank you, Vasudevan Srinivasan. Have you read Jared Diamond's Guns, Germs, and Steel, and what's your opinion on it?
Fantastic book. And you have to graduate from Guns, Germs, and Steel to Ian Morris. Jared Diamond's Guns, Germs, and Steels was the one that forced me to think a certain way. And this is almost what, a 20-year-old book? At least a 10, 15-year-old book, if not 20. Fantastic book. It's a very good foundational thing, but if you want big history, then what he explains both in Guns, Germs, and Steel and Collapse after that, both fantastic books to read. You then extrapolate it to Ian Morris's Why the West Rules for Now. And you'll see a lot, and Why Social Development Matters. Those two books and War, What Is It Good For? They take Guns, Germs, and Steel and they expand on it very, very significantly.
By the way, guys, I don't know how many of you have seen this. There was actually a web series on Ian Fleming, the author of James Bond series. It was either on Netflix or on Amazon Prime. It's a fascinating series. You should watch it. Next one, please. Paparazzi, thank you so much. Best place to have dosa uttapam around Chennai. He has revised his answer now.
Okay,
Or
Dosa,
question now.
Uttapam. Okay, see, Dosa, the best place to have it is in fact in Bangalore. It's not in Madras at all.
You
But
want him to go to...
But of all the places you do get in Madras, I would say the Dosa is best at Sangeeta, the ghee roast, and Uttapam is best at Woodlands in Mount Road.
Is it still there? Woodlands Mount Road? The drive-in complex?
No, the drive-in in the park is gone. That went
I
long
see.
back. This is
Okay.
Woodlands Hotel, opposite, kind of opposite Rajeshwari Kalyana Mandapam.
Okay. Mount Road is today Anna Salai, guys. You won't find signs for Mount Road
Yes,
anymore.
sorry. Anna Salai, that's it. And of course, the best Uttapam is at home. My mom makes the best Uttapam, but that's a different matter.
Next one, please. Truthwala wants to know how deal Muslim making fun of Hindu belief corp
Beliefs.
80. What is it? Can you understand what he's saying?
How to deal with Muslims who make fun of Hindu beliefs.
Okay.
Corporate, I don't know what corporate means. Well, very simple. Ignore it. It means nothing to you. There's a joke Instagram reel of Pluto. Pluto, the dwarf planet. And he says, see, some 4 scientists sat in a room and decided Pluto was a planet at one point of time. Then after 100 years, another 4 scientists sat in a room and decided Pluto was not a planet, it became a dwarf planet. Did it make a difference to Pluto? No. Now, every time you react to a Muslim making fun of Hindu beliefs, it takes away from what you need to do in practical terms. Okay. Let them make fun, just highlight it. Just highlight it. Don't hit back, highlight it. Just say, take screenshots, post it, and say, this is how they make fun, and that's it. Document it. Don't do anything about it. You're needed for much more better things to do, like opening up schools and things. I wish Hindus spent more time opening up schools instead of fighting on Twitter. Anyway, that's my view.
Thank you, Basudev Maharana. Is Indian democracy under threat from the way the opposition is behaving along with limitless Muslim appeasement?
Whose Muslim appeasement are you talking about? Because if it's giving them more schools and things and breaking the hold of the feudal lords, Sunni lords over their fiefs, I support that, by the way. Madrasas and all, no. But the breaking and giving women's education and things, I totally support.
Next question.
Is it
please.
under threat from the way opposition is behaving? 100%. But this is not unique to India. You see across the globe, things are becoming much more polarized. Next.
Thank you, Jasoji. Is high India growth a sore eye scenario for US, China really, or just make believe by us?
For the US, it's always good because a bigger market is great for them. They'll want to break you up, of course, but still, a big market is good for them. China, it is genuinely a sore thing for them. They don't like big emerging markets around them, even though they profit from it the most.
What do you think about the status of Qin Gang?
What about him?
He's gone missing. People are speculating.
Well, look, you don't go missing in China just if you've gone missing, you go missing for a reason, which is there'll be an official announcement removing you from the post for, I don't know, sickness or ill health or something like that.
Next one, please. Akash Meher 84. Are you wearing burkin?
No, I'm wearing a formal fairan. So I'm wearing a turtleneck, and on top of that is my Kashmiri black wool fairan. It's lovely black
It is
material.
pretty
It's
cold even here.
yeah, it's Loro Piano, and it's lovely fabric.
Next question, please. Thank you, Sharvin Shelke. Korean, Turkish, and Indian fifth generation fighter resemble more of Super Hornet than F-35. They are fourth generation with stealth features. How would they compete with 100 plus J-20s?
Look, fifth gen is more than just stealth shaping, Sharvin. I think we've had this discussion several times. The Korean and Turkish fighters, the same one. It's mostly Korea doing all the work. Turkey's joining in. The only thing that will happen is something like the Eurofighter, where the 4 anti-aircraft missiles will be semi-recessed, but it's not big enough to have an internal weapons bay. Okay, but it is still a lot stealthier than a Super Hornet, number one. Number two, you are right. They are fourth gen with stealth features. The J-20 compared to the Koreans, I'm not talking about Turkish industrial abilities here, because Turkish industrial abilities, at least in defense, are higher than China in terms of the technology function, but otherwise quite similar. The Koreans are way ahead. Now, a J-20 is an externally fifth gen fighter with internal high fourth gen avionics. The key features of the fifth gen are simply not out there. I don't think it understands. I don't think the Chinese have still gotten around to understanding what fifth gen actually is. So I think they would compete pretty damn well, because you will have a much higher quotient of electronic supremacy in Korean fighters. And air to air, they will start knocking out J-20s much better than J-20s will be at knocking them out. It is sufficient stealth. J-20 has like significant stealth problems in spite of shaping, because its biggest giveaway is its engine. Okay, so there's several issues with that, which basically the Koreans are going to come out much better in this, especially in terms of jamming and things like that, where Chinese ESAs are, well, they have huge telltale signs. Next.
Next question, please. Thank you, Rahul Lakshmanan. Your views on Omidyar network leaving India?
I am going to quote Martin Luther King Jr. or Sr. Free at last, thank God Almighty, free at last. Good riddance to bad rubbish.
Thank you, Vikrant Nalkur. Why hasn't there been a territorial war in continental South America in the past many decades? Do you think Venezuela will eventually invade Guyana?
I do, mostly because Maduro has nothing better to do. There has been territorial war in South America, as far as I remember, between Peru and Ecuador for a while. They were fighting over something. It was quite a serious war. Several people died. They deployed their air forces against each other. So there has been war out there. There was the threat of war several times they had some of the most genocidal wars, by the way. You look at the Paraguayan war, most of Paraguay's territory was eaten up. The Chile-Peru war, there were lots of wars that killed off some fantastic levels of population, 1/3 of the population. 25%, 33% of the population would have been killed off in these wars and things like that. Bolivia lost most of its territory to being gobbled up by all its neighboring countries and things like that. So there have been fantastic wars, you're right, before. After that, what happened is they stopped being prime powers. They were eclipsed by international trade and they all became secondary powers. And when you're secondary powers, you seldom tend to fight with each other. Some of you are impoverished, some of you are not, but you're too dependent on Western arms, Western aid, etc., 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 to do anything about it. There was a danger of war sometime between Argentina and Brazil, when Brazil, you do know, Brazil almost exploded a nuclear device and Argentina was getting ready in response to explode a nuclear device. But they've all had such severe economic problems. They never went down the Pakistan route. When they had economic problems, they turned within themselves and tried to sort problems out. So remember, even at the peak of, say, a Brazil-Argentinian showdown, Cold War, not really a showdown, there was always this belief in Argentina, what the hell is going to happen? Because Argentina was one of the richest countries in the world. So there were lots of issues like this. First, war exhaustion from those genocidal wars that we spoke about. Second, relegation to second-tier powers. Third was the overwhelming influence of the United States in South America, where everybody accepted the United States as kind of a regional hegemon and things like that. All of these things combined to prevent wars from getting out of hand. Because remember, there, you did not have one country, except, say, Cuba, which chose the USSR. For all the other countries, it was the patron was only America and nobody but America. That was it.
Next question, please. TJ6789. Can you take this question? I'm already paid 200 super chat. AM, what are your 3 policies for non-Hindus in a Hindu decolonized Bharat?
Why should there be 3 policies for non-Hindus, TJ? There has to be, even in a decolonized Bharat, there has to be equality of law. You can't have community-specific policies. Not on. I think you need to refine this question, TJ, because I don't think you meant apartheid or discrimination, legal discrimination.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have state support for... So your question is getting worse from the looks of it. First, it seems like apartheid, and second, it seems like state-promoted ghar wapsi. You can't do that. You can't do that. Even in Hindu state, you can't do that. You can't. The way people return is surely voluntary. You do it by Hindu organizations which have excellent social security, educational networks, where if you want to get in, you have to join the fold. You can't deny your minorities the right to do the same. That becomes an apartheid state. You can't do that.
Chaitanya YSK, thank you so much. Can India do anything against China, considering that we have democracy, which might hinder us from giving a proper response for any transgressions?
Why would you think a democracy would stall against doing anything against China? See, our responses against China are brought about by our own weakness, our lack of industrial capacity, our lack of intelligence, and our unwillingness to enter a full scale war. That said, democracies tend to be a lot nastier and fiercer when they enter a full scale war, precisely to conserve and protect people. Dictatorships function on totally different grounds. There are variations, of course. But what is holding us back with China is our lack of industrial power. It isn't our democracy. Next.
Next one, please. Ishan Khosla, your reaction on Legislative Assembly 2023 results and the new CM faces.
We've already
I think we
discussed
just
this,
talked
no,
about
Ishan?
it, right?
Yeah, we just spoke about it, yeah.
Yes, we just did this. Next one. Thank you, Levi Ackerman. How to control right-wing wokeism? 𝗍𝗫𝗼 𝗠𝗏.
What is 𝗍𝗫𝗼 𝗠𝗏? I have no idea.
No
But
idea.
right-wing wokeism, boss, listen, I've been against all this victimhood shit from day one. Ab kya karoge? If there are people on the right who want to play victim, can you stop them from doing it? The right wing is also very this thing. Oh, we don't accept victimhood here, there, except our victimhood must be accepted by everybody. I can't. I mean, look, I just tune off from it. And it's a very small part of the right wing. Tell me, where do you see all pervasive victimhood in the right? You don't, no? So it's a small problem right now. Nothing big to deal with.
Thank you, Chaitanya YSK. Why does India have separate border force for every border, like BSF for Pakistan, ITBP for China, etc.? Cannot we have unified border force?
Yes, thank you, Chaitanya. We have said that at every single meeting everywhere. It's, when babus, when you have a militarized bureaucracy and babus who are incentivized in having these separations with duplication of everything, there's very little you can do when it involves money and jobs, you see. So that's that. Typical socialist country.
When the Galwan thing happened, it was the ITBP who had found out that there were, there was encroachments, and they sent their memo. Guess where it went? To the Home Ministry. ITBP comes under the Home Ministry, and the concerned undersecretary, God bless his soul, sat on it for 2 weeks before he forwarded it. This is April 2020, and that caused a delay in response from India. It is believed that Mike Pompeo shared satellite imagery of what happened with Ajit Doval, and Ajit Doval directly went to the Prime Minister, bypassing the hierarchy, thinking that there is something that is going wrong here. That's how India responded late. Anyway, this is just a story. I have nothing to substantiate this, but the ITBP part coming under Ministry of Home Affairs is true. Sachin Mahindrakar, thank you so much. Sir, last time, 26 January, we saw vandalism of flag, national pride dusted, deeply hurted, no action seen by GOI. What can we expect this time around?
Yeah, look, this parliament incident is completely different from that incident, okay? That was an organized riot and vandalism. This was, it's Greta Thunberg, Likpriya Kangujam kind of nonsense activism. Please don't conflate the two. This is no insult on national pride. This is really F-grade jokers trying to be this thing. That what happened on 26 Jan was a deliberate insult to the nation, which needs to be punished. No action. Well, I keep, one of my big things, on one hand, they've done a fantastic job in Kashmir. On the other hand, you see nonsense like the farmers' protest being allowed to fester, CAA being allowed to fester. And, well, this 26 Jan incident, which happened as a result of the farmers' protest, no action taken. Ab kya karoge? बस इतना ही बोल सकते हैं ना, उसके बाद क्या बोलेंगे बस.
Next question, please. Chaitanya YSK, thank you so much. How can India renovate and rebuild cities considering everything is already jumbled up, or building up new cities only way forward?
Well, we've discussed this, Chaitanya, in great detail. It has to do with property laws, and if you're a socialist country, then enter into 49, 99-year leases. That's what you do. There are ways, of course, of building higher, in which case you offer people who have, what is property ownership rates in India like? It's in urban areas, it's apparently quite low. There's a very weird way of calculating property ownership, which apparently doesn't actually do it very well in India, because a lot of things that are considered as owned property are not, in fact, owned property. In India, they say 86% is owned property. It is not. It is not. There is huge urban rural differences, especially since the urban boom that has happened. There are massive differences. You can actually build higher, 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 offering people free, even 25% extra land, if you first sort out the FSI rates, FSI and things like that. Again, we've done a whole podcast on this. I suggest you go check it out.
Next one, please. Agnostic, thank you so much. Do weapons/aircraft really cost that much? Did Nehru run to UN because Pakistan was winning fight over Kashmir? Do we need to abolish democracy for it? Guys, don't put 4 questions. Only first question and answer, please.
Yes, aircraft actually cost that much. Because the cost of an aircraft is also to do with resupplies and spares. It is, first of all, it has become intensely expensive to produce the kind of high performance we have in aircraft these days. Every increase in capacity that you have costs a heck of a lot of money. Also, it comes with training, spares, etc., 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 which get rationalized over the airframes, which makes them very, very expensive. But if you buy in bulk, you actually find the cost of aircraft comes down very significantly. I think, the initial tranche of F-35s cost something insane, like $230 million per aircraft per unit. Today, the procurement is under it's something like about $78 million. So imagine from 250 plus $260 million per aircraft, it's actually come down to about, the last I checked was about $75 million per aircraft, which today is virtually nothing, really.
Next question, please. Ustad Pituddin Khan Chanchat, thank you so much. Do you think today's parliament attack is a huge setback to BJP's narrative and can lead to their defeat in 2024 Lok Sabha?
Nah, Babu, some Andolan GVs come and protest. How is that? Had it been a terror attack? Yes, it would have. This is not a terror attack. This is tomorrow I can go and, I can make some, I can claim medication or something like that. Ye mera asthma ka cheez hai. They could have actually said that. They could have said, yeah, asthma ka ye hai or whatever. They could have masked inhaler hai, and they could have taken it in. This is not really an election issue at all.
Next question, please. Aviral, thank you so much. What do you think about few on America right blaming Jews for sponsoring hate against whites, which has now taken a form of anti-Semitism in universities?
They want to blame the Jews, but they don't want to blame white American Christians who are at the forefront of this. See, who has been sponsoring all this wokery? It has been white East Coast and West Coast elites, irrespective of religion, Jews, Hindus, and white Christians included. Or, well, in the coast, they're not religious anymore, so they're post-Christian white people. But these guys will only single out the Jews for it. Why? Because they're very prominent in terms of wealth. It's an easy target, but it's just anti-Semitism by other means, because if you actually go into it, Indians not that much, but we're very prominent even there. We've been sponsoring it left, right, and center. and white American Christian, ex-Christian, or maybe identifying some form as Christians, are form the major bulk of it.
I think that all done. It's about all done today. Thank you so
Exactly in
much.
1 hour.
Yes, exactly an hour. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.